Hello and welcome to the Churros y Tácticas Podcast, where I am mailing in the intro because it would be embarrassing to celebrate being the top of the table after watching Real Madrid's last three games. So let's get this shit over with. Churros y Tácticas. Hey, Diego, remember when I tweeted out I recognized my club again and I had the Michael Jordan crying meme?
I do remember that tweet.
You can use the same picture of Michael Jordan crying, but now it's I don't recognize my club anymore. I hope
already,
to bring the meme back later and in positive reasons, but
So you maybe missed that, but from the Churros account, I already reposted that one after your loss against Atlético de Madrid.
appreciate that. Thanks.
But yeah, dude, how times change.
As we always say,
As we always say, football surprises us. Another
That's
plot
right.
twist, another stick that was thrown, another wrench that was thrown in between the wheel of the bike of Los Blancos. Having said that, you guys scraped a point away against the mighty Elche. And I'm just seeing some comments popping up. And normally I have those tucked away. But yes, I did say La Liga was over. But now with just 1 point adrift and still everything to play for, most of the season is still ahead. Still have to reach the halfway point. Still
reactionary.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, I have to say, like, Barca's looking good, while Madrid, in the whole post-Clásico era, are just going downhill pretty fast.
Post-Valencia era.
Yeah, not post-Clásico.
We had one game after Clásico where we beat Valencia 4-0. It was really comfortable.
Okay.
We had Alvaro Carreras golazo. And then after that, that was the last moment of joy we had, was that Carreras golazo.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed. A lot of things are happening on the pitch. A lot of things are happening off the pitch. I'm wondering how we should peel this banana apart. If you want to take it in the classic chronological order, I would like to get some words in and some thoughts from you as well with the big test ahead for Barca in the Champions League tomorrow at the Bridge. You know, we don't have much time. That's tomorrow already.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would like to kind of shoehorn a bit of a preview in here as well. But, you know, it was a great afternoon. It took place on Saturday, this Barça Athletic Club, in a historic matchup, of course, two of the three teams that had never been relegated to the second division. They came face-to-face at the first game back at the Camp Nou after a 2-year or 2.5-year absence. We're finally returned to the Camp Nou, the Spotify Camp Nou, the No Camp Nou, as some are calling it. Still under full capacity, of course. Full capacity will be 105,000. Right now, 45,000 were able to, 45,000 privileged people were able to take to the hot seat and see the team back in action at home. And it just felt, you know, that it was going to be a special evening. There was naturally festivities that took place throughout the day, in the pregame, in the postgame as well, fireworks. It was a special match as well, Kiyan, for players like Fermin Lopez, like Pau Cubarsí, who had never actually played at the Camp Nou. And of course, for the German manager as well, Hansi Flick, who had never managed a game for the Barca first team in the Camp Nou. So it had, many significant moments against a La Liga classic. There was, of course, also the subplot where a lot of the Barca fans were licking their chops at the chance to voice their displeasure and their dismay at Nico Williams. But that almost became, I would say, an anecdote. It was more anecdotal than you know. I read some papers or some articles rather that said it was a hostile atmosphere. Well, I wasn't one of the lucky people that was able to go to the Camp Nou, but what I perceived from the TV, mind you, I did try to go, and tickets were absolutely crazy expensive, Kiyan. I need to get some accreditation going fast, or some of my contacts to come through with the goods, because I ain't paying no $2 nor no $3 nor $200 for a ticket, mate. Yeah, I think you're muted. Yeah, you're muted.
Damn it! That was a great line. I had to. I can't deliver it with the same same authenticity now. What are your thoughts on the stadium renovations itself? You pleased with how it's turning out?
Well, I mean, I haven't been there yet, so quite frankly, my initial impression was trying to spot sort of the differences, if you will. I spoke to some friends that did go, and they said that it's, from the inside, the renovation is far from being completed, but what is done so far is very different from what the Camp Nou previously looked like. All I could judge from was the aerial shot itself, and from the tribuna, so the seating area that was finished so far. It was hard to get an impression from what has been done. I've always thought that the Camp Nou was one of the best stadiums in the world before, and I'm sure that when it's finished, it will be once again. But so far, I would say so good. If I have to choose between playing at the Montjuic, where I think, if I'm not mistaken, maximum capacity is 47,000. So, give me the Camp Nou even at 30,000 or 25,000. I'd rather be playing at home in these new facilities. The pitch looked perfect. It looked beautiful as always. And yeah, it just felt like home. It felt much better to be seeing the scenes of the players walking out of the famous tunnel, and just being back home was an important step to take. So I was very pleased. And then, of course, once the referee blew the whistle and the action took place, it was just like seeing Barca of old. I don't know if you got to see the match in its entirety, but it was a very, very dominant and convincing performance against a side that I thought was going to give us a tougher time, given, again, perhaps some of the hostilities that were brewing under the scene. Not necessarily maybe between the players, but I think that kind of spills over. I mean, we saw against Real Madrid just how a pecho, like how personal some of these players take some of the things that are being said off the pitch. And maybe it's water under the bridge or it's old news, but tensions were very, very high between the clubs, at least at an institutional level, over the summer. So I was thinking that this was going to be more of a matchup, but it just turned out to be a brilliant Barca performance. Lewandowski, the first player to score at the renovated Camp Nou. Ferran got a brace playing off of the Polish striker. Lamine, for me, was the star of the match. It was a stellar performance where he got to show his quality. He only got 2 assists. I say only because he was involved with at least 3 of the 4 goals. Fantastic dribbles, taking on 3-4 of the Athletic Club players at a time and out dribbling them, as well as his buddy Nico. He really kind of showed, I guess, who the better or who the star player is between the two, because Nico himself had a very piss poor performance. I don't know if that was stage fright or what it is. I mean, he really hasn't been his same all season. And, we got to welcome back O Capital, Rafinha, finally, the long-awaited return of the Brazilian forward. So it was a plácido tarde, like just a really all-around great afternoon of football and a homecoming.
As is a not.
Sorry, yeah, I had to completely Fermin Lopez, along with Lamine Yamal, for me, the best players. Sorry.
No, I was going to say from a non-Kool-Aid is an understatement watching this game. I actually, funny enough, I didn't really watch it because I have a rule now where I'm like 1 game a day max. I was doing too much. I was watching 2-3 games sometimes a day. So I reserved that day for watching Manchester City versus Newcastle, and I took my kids out for the Barca game during that time. So I was just keeping tabs on it, but I wasn't watching it. But the Nico Williams thing, it's not just, his performance at the Camp Nou. He's been really poor all season, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And from my perspective, I so wish there was some universe where Barca found the dimes and pennies that they needed to put this deal together, because it would have handcuffed them financially so badly for a player that is not worth that money. Unfortunately, you guys got Rashford for
That's
free
easy
instead.
to say now, but would
No,
especially
even at the time.
coming from Real Madrid. No, I mean, you guys have been handing out. You guys paid 70 million for Endrick. You're gonna say that 65 for Nico Williams is
No,
not
it
worth
wasn't. It wasn't the transfer that was the problem. It was the salary. He's getting paid
What is the salary?
something ridiculous. That it's ridiculous. That it
Right.
only makes sense for Athletic Club to pay that and no other club, because Athletic Club can't spend that money on anybody else. So it makes sense for them to do it, but it would be suicide for Barca to match the salary.
I wonder what has been the cause. I know that obviously health wise he hasn't been his best neither. In that parallel universe that you're talking about, there could be a case where he comes to Barca and under Flick, reaches higher heights and plays at a level that we kind of all expected or kind of hoped him to see execute at. You don't see that? You don't think that maybe staying in his comfort zone, staying in his lane has kind of maybe dampered his spirit, dampered that light, if you will?
It wouldn't, even if he had increased his performance with Barca, it wouldn't have justified the salary. No way, Jose.
I mean, the salary, yeah. I mean, he wouldn't have gotten paid that. And he would have, Athletic Club was always going to outpay Barca salary-wise.
Yeah. But, it happened, and luckily for you guys, you didn't handcuff yourself to that. It would have been very difficult financially.
It does make me wonder if this season fizzles out to be a classic Athletic Club season where maybe, they'll reach quarterfinal, semifinal, who knows, the final of the Copa del Rey, but don't go pretty much unnoticed in La Liga, crack European spots, whether that's Europa League or Champions League remains to be seen, of course. But it'll probably be a classic Athletic Club season where they don't bag any silverware. He extended his contract 10 years, if I remember correctly. It was an insane extension. So that also makes it a little bit more difficult for other clubs to come in and swoop in, unless his buyout clauses remain more or less the same, of course, for other clubs. I don't know.
Regardless, bullet dodge.
I guess my question was, do you see him, if this season plays out to be an underwhelming season, do you think he could pack his bags for the Premier League or Bayern or something?
I don't know, but this is a classic case of like a player in a contract year has the best year of his career, then gets paid so handsomely, his belly is now full.
No.
That's what I think. That's probably the most logical explanation. Belly full, man.
Could be that. Could be a mixture of things, of course, his health. Drop in the comments section your comments. Let us know what you think about the state of Nico Williams and how you guys saw Barca. I mean, were you said you were playing with your kids, so I imagine you saw some highlights at least.
Yeah, some highlights.
Did you did you catch some of Lamin's performance or Fermin or
not really?
I mean, the guy,
the goals, I can't even remember the goals, to be honest.
Okay. Well, I think it's safe to say Barca have turned the page since the Clásico, and the players have taken note. It looks like a different Barca at this point. Already in the last game, Kiyan, I was telling you I'm excited to see Lamine creeping back to his best. I thought in this game he was my man of the match. I know that he didn't get it. I think it went to Ferran Torres for the brace. And Fermin Lopez looked super sharp as well, as did Lewandowski. But Lamine Yamal right now is once again sort of going back to that Lamine Yamal that captured all of our attention in the previous 2 seasons, where he's just taken on defenders, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 or 4, and just coming up with dribbles where he's looking unstoppable. He didn't score, but he had, I say 2.5 assists, because in that buildup of the first goal, it's worth checking out. It was breathtaking performance from Lamine.
You know what I love about football, Diego?
What's that, buddy?
Is that tomorrow you play Chelsea at the Bridge,
Mm.
and let's see what tune you're singing there. Let's
Tell me.
wait and see.
Tell me. So obviously Chelsea is a stern test, second in the Premier League. They managed to get an away win against Burnley, the mighty Burnley, by 2-0. Enzo scoring the dagger in the 88th minute. I haven't kept up tabs with Chelsea since they had a squad of 44 players deep and were underwhelming. I guess this season they have managed to turn things around as well. Like I said, second in La Liga, or in the Premier League, with still 6 points adrift from Arsenal, but seemingly a much better team now.
And a solid ceiling in big games, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
I just, this is more of a thing, and I think I've mentioned this to you. I don't know. I feel like I'm not satisfied with my camera angle because it's not in the middle. But I think it's one of those things where Real Madrid and Barcelona this season will look good at certain times, and then there's like these bigger tests that loom. I also think, like, in the case of, it's so funny because literally what we did this season is very similar to what I always criticize Barca doing, which is like winning the Clasico and getting this like distorted reality of how good you are. And winning the Clasico is generally not like this barometer of what's going to happen later in the season. I think in that specific case at the Bernabeu earlier in October, it was like we had like the whole Lamine Yamal comments and the tension, and Real Madrid ready to just fight and literally physically fight, and that was good for us. And it's like, what you need that quote before every game, guys, to show some balls, to show some intensity. This, I also think, like, we sometimes underrate home and away. Like, the team has looked way different home than they have away from home. And obviously in Barca's case, most recently, the return to the Camp Nou has a special spiritual charge to it, right? That you can't describe.
Yeah.
Then they go to the Bridge tomorrow. That has its own thing. I mean, you've been to the Bridge. I've been to the Bridge. It's a special stadium as well in its own way. It has its own culture. So it'll be interesting to see what tune you guys will be singing there. To me, like, those are the games that you got to measure Real Madrid and Barcelona in this season.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm just going over some of their big tests, Kiyan, this season. They lost to Bayern early on in, or say midway through September, 3-1 in the Champions League. Then lost to Manchester United 2-1 in a feisty game where both teams saw red cards. Then they beat Liverpool on October 4th, 2-1, and managed to beat Tottenham 1-0. While they have Arsenal now coming up after Barca next weekend. I would say those 4 or 5 games I just mentioned are their quote-unquote big tests. Some passes, some fails. It looks like certainly as the season has progressed, they've managed to kind of stabilize into a winning form. If Barca pull a big win tomorrow, will that instill doubt that Liga for Real Madrid is an assured thing, as assured as I have been claiming it would be and still claim it will be, meaning Madrid winning La Liga? Will that, did you get my question? Will a strong Barca performance against Chelsea tomorrow away and a potential win make you doubt whether Madrid can grind out a La Liga win against Barca at the end of the season?
First of all, I think that the way Barca and Flick play, I think that there is a lot of room for Chelsea to be more punishing than teams like Athletic, who are not that good this year.
Hmm.
Um, and second of all, to answer your question, I forget Barca for a second. What Barca does on the other side in their schedule is somewhat irrelevant to Real Madrid because I'm actually genuinely concerned about the upcoming schedule. We still don't return home for another 4 games. I cannot claim to be an Olympiacos expert, but you and I have been watching football long enough to know the hellhole that is playing away to Olympiacos
Hmm.
with that atmosphere. Girona away, not the strongest Girona, but it's another away game where when we've been lacking intensity. The one after that is away to San Mames, which again, regardless of Athletics form, we're struggling in games like that against teams with that kind of atmosphere. And so that's actually a stretch that I'm concerned about because, as we know, there's a lot that's concerning about Real Madrid based on the last few games, and we don't go back home for another 4 games. And there's potential for this to get worse from a Real Madrid standpoint, irrespective of what Barca does.
Okay, so you gave me the perfect politician-like answer by not answering the question. That's fine. I mean, the season is still long.
What do you
don't
mean?
need to go on. No, whether again in a hypothetical case, Barca have a big win tomorrow, will doubt creep in whether Madrid can therefore maintain their regular winning form, let's put it that way, to still grind out La Liga? Or will you start, because I'm the first to admit, I've been continuously saying, especially since the Clásico, that Madrid are going to win La Liga. And I still maintain that stance, quite honestly.
I'm a little bit confused as your question because to me they're two unrelated things. If Barca winning the Champions League tomorrow in a different competition,
yeah, because I guess what I'm trying to say or ask is do you see Barca going back to last season's form? So far this season, we haven't seen Barca in the form, the champion caliber form that we saw from them last season, and that was the reason why I said, look, this season is a wash for Barca. We're missing all of our goal scorers. Lewandowski's been out, Rafinha's been out, Lamine hasn't been the same. Now these players are coming back. Rafinha was the last one to come back and have a cameo of 10 minutes, but Lewandowski's hitting the back of the net. Lamine is coming back to his best form. We have to wait and see how Rafinha will come back, but we have a Fermin Lopez that is playing lights out at the moment. We're waiting for Pedri to come back, as also, of course, Frenkie de Jong was serving a one-match suspension. But if we get these pieces of the puzzle back to their best, or at least to what we saw last season, then I'm like, hey, look, with 1 point adrift, with the Madrid that we're seeing at the moment, I'm starting to fancy our chances a whole lot more to repeat La Liga success, something that I completely couldn't see, a few weeks ago.
Well, let me flip the question back to you. When you say Barca are back, you're talking about the last 2 games, correct? Celta and Athletic?
Primarily, yeah.
Okay. So those 2 performances against Celta and Athletic were enough for you to be convinced that all the problems of the season were erased?
They were day and night when I looked at the attitude of the team, the sacrifice of the team, how the team approached the match, the intensity of the match as well, the willingness, the drive to commit to the high press, be more disciplined, communicate better, implement Hansi Flick's style of play on the pitch in a very difficult stadium. Again, Balaidos was a stadium that Barca over the past 10 seasons have picked up primarily bad results and have dropped points. I think this was only our 3rd win in the last 10 years. Against Athletic Club, more of the same. So yeah, it's definitely encouraged me, these last 2 performances, to say, hey, look, maybe we're turning a page now.
Do you believe that to be the case? Like, do you believe that's the turning point, and what is your genuine feeling about tomorrow?
Yeah, I think a strong performance against the second in the Premier League, against the Chelsea that have got I don't know how many times a bigger budget than us, and have been trying to buy their way back to success, desperately so. If we can beat them in convincing fashion at their home ground, I'm gonna start feeling myself a little bit. I'm gonna say, hey, look, it looks like we have turned the page, and this Barca is again the force to be reckoned with, and not just nationally but internationally. In the Champions League, we can compete once again with the very best, and those that are favored to pick up the title, which I think Chelsea is one of.
You're talking about like what after the fact? I'm talking about literally. How do you feel about heading into tomorrow?
Okay, well,
listen.
Yeah, I'm confident. I'm happy with the performances that I've been seeing of late, and with this attitude, with this quality, with this style of playing, with this engagement from the get-go, taking the game serious. We're minimizing individual errors. We're staying concentrated at the task at hand. Of course, I'm going to fancy Barca against any team.
All right, so you're predicting a W?
We saw it last season. Are
you predicting a W?
Look, if you want me to go out on a limb, I don't, my sample size for Chelsea this season is bare minimum. Again, Champions League highlight scraps. So I don't know that team well enough to say, we have what it takes to beat them. But on paper, and from what I know from my team, I fancy our chances at our very best level against any team for sure. So yeah, I'm not scared to be like, oh yeah, W. I'm not gonna shy away from it. I'm hoping for a win, and I'll put some money on it too if I have to. Sure.
Put some money on it. Okay.
Yeah, hey, let's get a betting sponsor in here. I'll put some money on that shit.
All right. So Diego predicting a W.
365. Come and sponsor Churros, and you'll have me as a client. I just want
to say this about your confidence in beating Chelsea tomorrow. This is what I want to say.
We can't hear.
That ruined it. I don't know why the audio didn't work. Totally ruined it.
You got to work on that.
On that would have been insanely good. But we will be there.
I like these. I like these little. How do you do that?
Hey,
these little clips that you play.
Florentino. You just call Florentino, and he corrupts the whole system and lets you play videos. That's all. Easy.
Florentino, boy. Did you tune in for that?
Of course.
The assembly?
Of course. My king.
Were you in tears and clapping?
It was beautiful to watch. Beautiful to watch.
You know what was interesting?
To see him with the guns out.
You know what was interesting? I forget who it was. Some account clipped his speech, or a portion of the speech, the part where he talks about Barca last year in last year's assembly, and what he obviously had to say this time around, which was some populist anti-Barca rant, going uncovering once again the Negreira ghosts, and just
you agree with him. You agree with him. You yourself have said the Negreira thing is shady.
I don't like it. Yeah.
Okay. So don't talk about like ghosts and Negreira ghosts.
It's like it's so uncalled for. I mean, what? And last year, mind you, the funny thing was he was backing Barca, and he was like, "Barca are our friend. We need Barca.
Why?
We're stronger together."
You know why?
Yeah, the Super League.
Because Laporta, the coward, he ran away and said, "Okay, please, Al Khalifi, take me back. I need money. I need help. Please." Now watch this lawsuit, the Super League lawsuit.
Yo, if you guys get that money, man.
Yo, 4.5 billion. Give us a little portion, Flo. Send.
Come on.
What is like 100K out of 4.5 billion to just throw to our podcast? Come on, Flo.
I'll take a year-long our top tier Patreon, Churros Patreon top tier edition.
How about this? If we win the lawsuit and we get 100K, all the Patreon membership fees are paid.
Fair.
And I promise we will sign Who are we gonna sign? Lamine Yamal?
I don't know if he rolls out of bed for 100K these days. But yo, listen, you're not gonna walk away here without having spoken about your beloved Huats.
Oh, not
Did you
only
win
only
it?
am I not gonna walk away. I've been scratching myself waiting for you to bring it up.
Did you win a point? Did you drop two?
Um, you, you dropped 3 points because you were ass. The team was terrible yesterday. All right, segment over.
How concerned are you at the moment? I mean, Rodrygo, is he ever going to be called up again in the starting 11? I'm gonna fire some of my observations at you, okay? And mind you, I was the one that would also kind of back Rodrygo for more chances, if you will. But I guess at this point, he's run out his trials for cracking the starting 11. Or has he? I don't know. That is one question. Huijsen, are you concerned over his form? Is he
Huijsen?
yeah? Is he the central defender you hoped that he would be?
I
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, if you want to do like rapid fire questions, I feel like you have a few questions on your mind.
Mm.
Housen is a promising defender that I really like, who has just some severe growing pains right now.
Rodri.
Rodrygo hasn't been good in 2 years. You know, people say bench Vinny or this or that. It's not like Rodrygo is going to come in and fix the issue either. He's been poor. So that's my thoughts. When he's on the field, I have zero confidence in him doing anything.
Trent.
Very encouraging return to the starting lineup yesterday. Should have had at least one
He had some
assist.
good crosses, but that was not a great performance, no?
No, he was arguably our best player. I mean, Trent
Really?
is like the last person to have issue with. Yeah, I think Trent.
More than Mbappe. He was better than Mbappe, is what I'm trying to say.
You're giving me like you're trying to get me to like talk about our best players in a terrible performance. I don't really. I'm not. My head is not even there. I think there were like a few players who played well enough. Mbappe was better from a creative standpoint than his finishing was. I give his finishing a pass because the motherfucker is scoring 40 to 60 goals a year. And then we can't like just get mad at him because he stopped scoring for a couple games. It doesn't make sense. But Trent in a vacuum is basically what we knew him to be, which is a guy who's not great defensively, but on his day is going to be contributing a lot to the attack. And so I think if you talk about Trent's role in Xabi Alonso football, the fit is there. He is again, but this goes back to like more deeper concerns, which is why have Trent on the field and not pair him with Gonzalo Garcia, who can actually get on the ends of things. Our dynamic and attack completely changed when Gonzalo Garcia entered the field. And so that was a big eye-opening thing that we've been literally screaming for. He comes in and all of a sudden the offense opens up. So it really matters, like you need to have people to get fed from Trent's balls into the box. But yeah, Trent is like the last person to have issue with yesterday.
Who'd you have the biggest issue with?
Oh wow. Rodrygo was poor. Vinny was poor off the bench. Carreras was poor.
Mhm.
Fran Garcia wasn't good, but I also am like, what am I doing hating on him? Like, why? It's not his fault he's on the field. He should not be our left winger. Why are we doing 2 left backs? Ceballos was poor.
It was poor.
Fede didn't move the needle at all when he came in off the bench. Camavinga needs to be better. There are weird moments where our effort just switches off. I would say maybe there's like a handful of people who at least fought. Mbappe, Bellingham, who I thought was poor like in the first 20 minutes, but then got going and grew into the game and at least tried to will his way back to a comeback. Arda should have had at least 1 assist with the balls he was putting in to Mbappe, and also he was good escaping pressure. Asensio was largely good, but I think he should have closed down Alvaro's shot better. But also, it was weird that no one else was helping him track Alvaro in that situation.
Mm.
Who's left? Did I miss anyone? I mean, obviously, Courtois is exempt.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I think you nailed the main ones here. I wasn't particularly impressed with Ceballos neither. I was expecting you to sing his praises or at least try to defend that performance.
Who? Sorry?
Like Ceballos. I was kind of wondering what he was doing out there, and also Rodrygo, I thought was shockingly bad. And I was thinking, how is this going to affect Xabi Alonso's management of the dressing room once again, having benched Vini? Is this once again kind of like a show with a show of authority, a power struggle, a message? Because even though Vini came out and didn't look particularly inspired neither on the day, at this point in time, I mean, he has to be part of your go-to starters each and every game and kind of hope that you get the best from him.
I'm surprised that you get surprised when I just have fair analysis of players. Like, you're surprised that I said Ceballos was not good yesterday. What do you think? Who do you think I am? What do you take me for? I'm very confused.
You're a Ceballos fanboy.
That doesn't mean I make up stuff about him. If players play badly, I say they play badly. If they play well, I say they play well. I'm not wrong ever. I don't lie. I'm not a liar. Ceballos had a really bad game. He's been pretty bad all season, actually.
Well, let me ask you this, since you're so fair and honest.
Absolutely. Ask away.
Which one of the 2 Madrid goals should have been disallowed, if not both?
What happened on the first one?
Bellingham passes it with his arm.
I think that would have been harsh, and according to the rules, this is the whole typical handball thing that we both generally agree on. I think the second one, we got away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at you. You're so upset that you didn't get it out of me. What do you do now? What do you do now?
What am I doing now? I guess this is the end of the pod. Thanks, guys. Join us for Patreon edition.
Wait, can I ask you if you saw this? Hold on.
What?
I'm gonna try to bring it on the screen, but I don't know if it's gonna. Yeah, I think this should work. Hold on a sec.
Make sure the sound works.
No, this one is not sound dependent, but I just wanted to ask if you saw this masterpiece. Oh, baby.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I did see that.
The MJ of the sport doing this shit at 40.
Perfect.
Unreal.
Now, another trophy for Cristiano Ronaldo after his long list of winning nothings.
Why can't you just like appreciate?
That's a trophy for him. It was a great goal.
Why can't you just
do you see
wow,
me? I could be pulling up Messi highlights all day, every day. You just be like,
Do
But
it.
yeah, that was a
And
nice
show me where
bicycle
Messi scored a bicycle kick
Well,
at the
I
age
don't
of
have
40.
to. That debate is so one and done and
What
dusted
debate?
that
This is you're incapable of just saying nice goal, Cristiano, and without bringing up
I did
Messi at
say
all.
nice. My first words were that was a nice goal.
Hater, absolute hating. Just 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 a quick thing. People are asking about reports about Athletic and Vinicius in the chat. I'm happy to get into it on some level now, but just know that we're actually planning a big podcast tomorrow to talk about everything that's going on with regards to
his
that and
renewal.
everything else. Yeah. But I just
Okay,
wanted to let
so I did
listeners
hear.
know that we're having a big podcast tomorrow about it.
Well, hold on. Give me a little something. So I quickly spotted something that he has given an ultimatum to Florentino saying either Xavi or me. Is that more or less correct?
Yeah. Yeah. It's more like he's basically saying that I don't see this getting solved. Like he does not have a good relationship with Xabi, obvious stuff. Like that's nothing new. But yeah.
Or you don't want to give? You want to save the goods for tomorrow?
Kind of, but also there's not that much for me to add at this moment without having some more conversations about it later today with people.
Mm-hmm.
But it is to me it's a situation, it's a point of no return to me. I don't know if there's any repairing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And look, man, you're talking to somebody, and not unique to me. I think all of us, we've seen Ramos leave. We've seen Cristiano Ronaldo leave. Vinny is not even in the same stratosphere as those two people. And I don't think it's going to end well for him.
I guess the question is, have you seen enough from Xabi Alonso to then say, my chips, I'm going to place them on Xavi, and it's farewell, Vinny? You understand? You know what I mean?
I think you have to let the manager you hired to fix the mess do what he needs to do and give him full keys to do it. And if people are causing problems in the dressing room and making life difficult for Xabi and asking to be paid like Cristiano Ronaldo, where the only person who deserves to be paid like Cristiano Ronaldo is Cristiano Ronaldo himself and Lionel Messi, that's the list forever, then you got to move on.
Yeah, I get that. I think that's
you got to move on from him. Because tell me what the solution when Xabi Alonso gets sacked and then the new manager comes in and has to deal with the same politics and the same bullshit. Has no freedom to make his own decisions. And when he does, every single person in that camp is going to start talking to the press and saying Vinny is Alonso's this coach is a bad guy because my player wants freedom. My player wants Carlo Ancelotti to put his arm around him and let him do whatever he wants. Tell me which manager is going to come in and not succumb to that as well.
Yeah.
The club above everything. That's my stance. The club above everything. Club is number one. I've seen it all. I've seen my favorite player of all time, Raul, was not immune to this.
Yeah. And still isn't.
The club always wins. The club should always win. That's the priority.
Here. I'll sign on to that.
Here. Yeah. So we're gonna explore it more tomorrow though on the podcast and talk about kind of some of the more details and some of the other players who are being mentioned as always. And I think,
which, by the way, I know you said on Friday's podcast on patreon.com/Churros y Tácticas for patrons only that Bellingham and his pops were not a problem. But if I'm not mistaken, Mario, your buddy, is also reporting that.
I disagree with Mario on this. I literally talked to Mario today, actually. But
Okay.
and I think Mario is pretty bang on about mostly everything, and I highly respect his work, and he's a good friend of mine. But there's a couple points that I do disagree with him on this that conflict with what I hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, be that as it may, we'll see.
What
Looks
we
like Xabi has
what we do agree on is that there is one that's the main guy who is the one leading
the ringleader.
the rest of the players against Xabi.
Yeah, that seems pretty obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'll be tuning in for that while I'm eating my popcorn and watching the Chelsea game, the Chelsea Barca.
You're gonna listen to our podcast while you watch the Barca game. That's I'm honored.
I'm trying to plug your stuff, Man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I was excited. I thought you actually were gonna do that.
Well, I don't know if timing wise works out. Then yeah, for sure. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. So, I'll be tuning in. And maybe chime in a little.
All right, Chelsea Barca tomorrow, and then I guess Real Madrid plays on Wednesday. Olympiacos.
Yeah.
And then you and I will be back. You and I will be back on Thursday over on Patreon. Patreon.com/Churros y Tácticas, where we literally answer every single question from every single member that comes in. It's included in your membership. Actually, for those of you guys who generally send super chats to us, hold your super chat money. You just like get unlimited super chats if you're a patron. You would actually save so much money. Go to patreon.com/Churros y Tácticas. Ask away. No stone goes unturned on the patron only edition. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being part of the Churros Army. Follow Diego's channel. It's co-streaming on D-Spot. And make sure to follow us both on social media. Thanks, guys. Take care. Thanks, Diego.
And just some fun banter as well on the Patreon platform. So we get to dive in and delve into these topics deeper. And yeah, it's always fun. So come and join the place where Madridistas enjoy hanging out together. It's unique.
Very unique. Most underrated duo. Thanks, guys. Peace out.
You go. Peace, buddy.